Hi everybody, you may know me from my other channel, Cat Tarot, where I simply deal with sort of readings for a month and just like kind of sticking to the few kind of issues. But given that I'm using tarot for various approaches with my clients, I decided to start a new channel where I can share whole bunch of different topics and how to deal with them. If you find yourself, just feel free to either contact me via my tarot channel or via my coaching channel. Both of them will be very helpful to you. And so why tarot works? Tarot basically is unbelievable good tool to really guide you in life. For me, tarot helps to unearth many things that have been hidden, buried, or forgotten. This is basically a complete symbolic dimensions. And when I say tarot, I don't necessarily mean just tarot cards, oracle cards, because each set basically contains archetypes, and those archetypes are describing us and different situations we can face. So the symbols are really universal message that bridge invisible and visible worlds. And they actually really reflect well the human experience. The reason why we progress much faster with tarot help is that when we see such archetypes, we can identify at the very least, it is happening somewhere else for somebody else. We are that observer. As an observer, we are able to look at the situation without too much pain. It's just like the cat around the hot milk. We might actually skirt on the edge of the problem and kind of like work with that. So, as a therapist, coach, and tarot aficionado, I have used the cards myself many times to seek guidance, to check my own inner compass, and to find direction through sticky moments in life. Since I started to practice, I have seen that even though codependency is not a diagnosis, this seems to be collective karma, especially for women nowadays. So since I'm starting this new channel, which basically is still using these archetypes to help us and assist us, sort of like props, let's start with codependency and let's address this issue. So, if you have ever been involved in a codependent relationship, you know that you stepped into a special kind of hell. Playing the long-suffering spouse, or friend, or child, or parent, girlfriend, or partnership isn't as glamorous, and it's not a noble role. So in fact, it's downright toxic. Nothing will beat you down faster than being in constant savior mode. On the outside, even on your inside, it doesn't necessarily look, let's say, bad. In fact, codependent people often assume that they're being the good guys and perhaps a martyr of sorts. After all, they're putting someone else's needs first and keeping things under control. That's being charitable, competent, and caring, isn't that right? It's wrong. That's the illusion of codependency. You do want to help, you care, but maybe you care too much. So what's really underneath that self-sacrifice? You see, Codependence Anonymous says that codependents really share similar characteristics: denial, low self-esteem, compliance, control, and avoidance. Many codependents are raised in families where addiction existed, and this maybe did set the tone for future relationships. Although not every codependent relationship revolves around addiction. Sometimes you just, have been brought in a family where family more cared about what the others think, or one parent had really kind of like self-serving needs, almost narcissistic needs, and that kind of like formed you while you were growing up. Codependent personalities are perfect victims for narcissists and those with addiction issues. In fact, the two can't exist without the other. It is just natural fit, day and night. Breaking free from this vicious cycle usually requires deep introspection, therapy, and establishing new habits and behaviors for both parties involved. Tarot can provide some insights into your role as a codependent, and these revelations can help you start a healing process. Tarot is a wonderful tool for personal reflection, but if you're struggling and fighting everybody around you, no, it's okay, then you really need a bigger help. In that case, I would say seek a certified coach or therapist to help you in your situation. Why am I saying that? You see, codependency is deeply ingrained issue. It really taps into the core of your being. And just to get tarot reading, it won't make it go away. The worst part is that people who really need to wake up will actually be the very ones who will go to extremes to fight their position. You know, when we are children and parents say, "Don't touch the stove, it's hot, you're going to burn yourself," they pull us out. The sentence forcefully pulls us out. Codependents are really like those children. You see, no amount of pulling them out of the situation, screaming, yelling, reasoning, not going to help unless they want to help themselves. It is quite tragic. They're going to even blame all these people for having whatever ulterior reasons to affect their such perfect relationship. Okay, dear, if it's so happy, why aren't you happy then? You see, the reason you're not happy is that the worst part is that on intellectual level you maybe might realize that you wouldn't advise anybody, absolutely anybody in the world, to engage in such relationship, but you are stubbornly staying in such toxic relationship yourself. So abuse in any relationship is clearly a sensitive topic, and it needs to be dealt with care and professionalism. Abuse comes in many forms, not necessarily just in a form of, hey, you know, you hit me and this is not right. Abuse sometimes happens through partner continuously being a victim. So if you feel you're a victim and somebody else all the time needs attention, you are actually an abuser. You're self-abusing yourself. This is the key with codependency, not only that you get it from the outside, you get it from the inside. You know, with codependency, sometimes you really have to be slapped around. And I mean it, not necessarily physically. In fact, that probably won't help. But you have to be shaken out to get it. You have to be shaken out as many times as needed, because codependency is much worse than any addiction that you may have. So what I have done here, and I'm going to do it with tarot as well later, I actually pulled some cards over here and I was pulling them. I was kind of like asking what kind of different answers can be given to me here to serve for this particular issue. So I was shuffling to really get kind of like feel for codependency. Interestingly enough, this is the card that came out, Golden Palace, and it's basically saying, this is my dream. And this kind of like card represents good fortune, fulfilled ambitions, wealth, prosperity, love, emotional fulfillment, entering time of happiness that is kind of long overdue. So with this card, it should be the message that self-worth isn't truly measured by what you have, no matter how abundant your life may be. Instead, It's what you are and how authentically you live your life and how much love you're willing to share. It goes to show that obviously you're not starting this relationship thinking about this is not going to work. Nobody is going in that kind of direction. As you can see, the trees are growing and there is like this hope for something like so glorified. But then you have to ask yourself, isn't this just a little irrational? Isn't this just a little childish to really believe that something just like that is possible? Is it because we see it in the movies? Because the truth is that when we are dealing with such strong issues, right? When we are dealing with tarot, like there is like that card is called the devil, and devil kind of like talks about its codependency, where, you know, chains are not really placed upon you. Chains are just like, I mean, optional if you really think about it. So that's kind of like what we do to ourselves when we kind of like have issues with codependency, right? We kind of like put these chains on ourselves in order to maybe feel important, right? Many people in codependent relationships say that they feel trapped, right? But at the same time that they are needy, that they feel more powerful. It's kind of like feeding that, right? But the truth is they're trapped by their own neediness, right? You truly really don't know what's going on inside somebody's home. People tell you they are happy, but truly only therapists can tell you that stories that are told to the public and stories that are told in private do not necessarily match. So this tells me that, of course, intention is there to be happy. Intention is there to have everything. But also, this is a very unrealistic dream. This also tells me that there are issues with the past, that I would have to go to the client's background and really see why these roots kind of like hooked on something. What basically happened that this kind of picture has been formed? Why cannot be give and take that you love somebody but you don't like them, you don't like certain habits that they have, you're not tolerating certain things, you are kind of like trying to see that kind of like really happy thing for yourself? Because healthy love is fluid and dynamic. Addictive love fears change. Healthy love is gentle and comfortable. Addictive love is combative. Healthy love encourages honesty. Addictive love encourages secrets. Healthy love is unique. There are no ideal lovers, guys. Addictive love is stereotyped. Healthy love creates life and joy. And addictive love creates melodrama and suffering. Healthy love is accepting the partner you have, and addictive love looks for more or better. Nothing is good enough. Healthy love is based on your desire to be with a person, but addictive love is based on need. Healthy love is making yourself happy. Addictive love seeks someone to make you happy. Healthy love develops after you feel safe. Addictive love tries to create bonds to avoid fear. So let's see what I see here. After I started this, I kind of like pulled cards and it told me there are actually two different types of codependence over here. And it is kind of like really where everything started to unfold from this point on. And this, I have to tell you, I do have to fully agree. I sign on it because this is something that I have seen through my experience with the matter. Some people just simply experience deep freeze. When it comes to the situation where they do have to make a decision, they would rather die. Oops, pardon me. They would just like rather do nothing. They are just like simply enjoying the status quo. Well, maybe not necessarily enjoying, but not really doing anything to do it, to change it, to move forward. They still believe they're going to get this golden palace. You see, in codependent relationships, somebody hooks you in that relationship by treating you extremely nice in the beginning. You are everything. You're the princess. You're wonderful. You're beautiful. You smell nice. You look nice. And you just like simply melt. But when they hook you, the switch happens. And it will never, ever, ever go back. But the codependent is always thinking, oh, if I just jump higher, if I do more, if I, it's going to happen. It's going to come back. No, it's not going to. And that's what happens. The freeze happens. The others who maybe didn't have such deep hooks inside of them, or who are able to just like grind their teeth and say, okay, it's going to be really painful to get rid of it. Or this could also be simply a healthy person that kind of like is going in this direction. They also can fall into a codependent relationship, but they are going to realize that there are choices to make. One could be winter, one could be summer, and it is really up to them which life they want to choose. They maybe are aware that absence of this person, it's not going to be easy, and because of the absence of this person, they might hit rock bottom. This codependent relationship can be, as I told you, addiction-ridden relationship, where a couple is guided by habit, alcoholism, too much sex, gambling, whatever kind of like makes that union. And it really, really takes to withdraw. It really takes sometimes to hit the rock bottom, and instead of that, shaking the person up, you are shaking your own head and you're wondering what the heck happened. For the other person who is really defending with their life that relationship, there is like the card that is called stuck in the mud. So we see two very similar images. The, frozen thing, not dealing with thing, not really living your life, allowing somebody to literally do whatever they want and walk over you. Quite sad, don't you think? And then I got this card, details. It is a very important card. It's kind of like funny. I don't know if you can see it here. I'll try to come closer to you to see. Look what is showing here under the thing. Clarity. And this showed up reversed. Clarity seems to be just a footprint on a bigger picture. Truth is, you really need to zoom in on details. You need to zoom in on every particular instance and kind of like backtrack your steps. Why are you frozen of dealing with? Is this person so prickly you're dealing with that you really fear if you do or say something, all of a sudden the relationship will vanish, and so you prefer to do nothing? This definitely talks about fear, and having fear in a relationship, as I told you, is definitely forming a bad relationship that's not going to end well. So what's going to happen with two different types of approaches to the matter, right, that we have over here? One, it's a talisman. It is the hope that it's going to be better somewhere else. We kind of like need to take this chance that this is not the best what we can have, that we have to keep going, and no matter how hard it is, we have to walk away. She's turning the back to it. What else? Wishing well. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust that the decision that you have made is maybe healing that disease forever. It's like vaccination. You actually get a little bit of that disease in your body, so in the future that disease cannot infect you. This is what this type of personality does when dealing with this issue. Realizing, sure, this golden palace maybe took place at some point, but hey, if the same relationship can lead me to rock bottom, something is wrong with this picture. So it is like faith and hope that, you know, you're going to kind of make it. Rock bottom, it's actually good news. That means you realize how low you can sink, how low, you know, you can feel. And from that point on, the only way is up. So, you know, looking that way and wishing well a magic prayer together. How wonderful it is, you know, to see that. On the other hand, how difficult or easy will be for this second type of personality kind of like to deal with this. Coming to life from deep freeze. We do have to see that we can kind of like do better and stronger. Follow the leader, just like here. The time is coming. Can you see there is actually the clock on the tree? We kind of like have to set ourselves free. You guys, if you belong to this category, if you're trying to find any reason for why you should stay there, you have to understand that both solutions are having these paths that are paths to get out. Get out is the answer. Like nobody ever had productive or happy relationship with a narcissist. And this is really sad. It is like almost like this deep freeze can affect you so much that literally might need somebody to pull you out from that situation. Solitude will be needed, and this is like what this personality really fears the most. You know, when you're dealing with codependency, the problem truly with this type of personality is toxic loneliness, because this person, even though for a moment is making you feel so good, it's so good to be needed, it's so good to kind of talk because you feel productive, you feel like resolving issues, and yet solitude and loneliness is not exactly the same thing. Solitude is something that you need to have. Solitude is something that you need to understand that on your own, you should be fully productive and loving person. And solitude is also understanding that you can do on your own and you do not need this person. And into the unknown. And I think that's the scary part, right? That's a very, very scary part, because you don't know where you're going. You actually don't even know who you are. You have this whole issues about in which direction is this going to take. There is like this huge sense of loss and huge sense of the doors are closing for you. But the truth is, you will get where you need to get. The birdie over here is talking about that you need to claim your own freedom. So where this is taking us, and you see how well cards can assist us. If you see yourself in any of, pardon me, these groupations, you kind of like do know how easy or how hard can it be for you. Can you just like do it on your own, where this group can do it? This is not to say that they're not going to spend nights crying. They will. But this one might simply not be able to do it themselves. So what should happen here? Metamorphosis. I think that was self-explanatory. You also might need a therapist or a coach, as I told you, in order to pull you out of the situation. You need to know how to be alone and how to actually process things on your own, that you don't feel you always need to depend on someone else, because that depending can and will lead to codependence. Usually once we get the virus will repeat unless we really go into kind of like completely different stage. And how about here? Come together. And this, I think, is like multifold meaning. It's not only that you are finally healthy and healing and you're never going to go for such horrible relationship, but that also you do understand what love is and what love isn't, right? You are going to understand that you do deserve better, that loser coming your way is just going to be pushed away, because you're going to remember what kind of issues you kind of like had over the time and how long it takes to get here. Getting this card, guys, I was like so happy when I saw that, because this is not an easy path either. But this person truly trusts. They truly trusts that after 2 steps, it's going to be better. It's going to be better. You have to keep this hope. You have to keep faith. And you're going to get there. And you do get there. Here, it's more involved. You definitely need help of the other people. You need to unearth the details. So look where we got from the Golden Palace, which is the ideal. We all want this like special place and freedom and love. But codependence can really stray us away from our path, because look what would happen if we made the wrong choice. If we made the wrong choice, we would end up in this space where we feel in the dark, in a fear, oh my gosh, I cannot do it, where you feel like almost like you depend on this person. But maybe you don't even feel that way. You just like simply feel you're stuck. You don't know why you cannot get yourself out from the mud or from the quicksand. And that's why somebody needs to pull you out before it's too late. Because if it does get too late, you guys might just freeze and die. And when I say die, yes, it surely can happen for real. We all are destined to die in our lives. But when I say die, I mean the very thing that you live for that golden palace, for that beauty, it's never going to be there. So if this was your goal, you have to realize that we would not be getting there. That for some reason, you just like felt trapped, that for some reason you fell in a situation which is not going to end well. So what I would advise here, guys, is to take a leap of faith and to really kind of like grind your teeth and just do it. If you feel you cannot do it, please get a licensed coach or a therapist. Contact me through my goalsorientedcoaching.com website. So start with this. And as I said, codependency seems to be karma that we need to really resolve in 21st century. And I'm here to help you. I am trying to make this place a better world, one person at a time. And if you guys think you need my help, please send me a note through my email. Thank you so much, and please tell me what kind of issues you have, and I'm looking forward to your feedback. Love you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to know what I do with tarot, visit my YouTube channel, Cat Tarot. Love you guys.